What's up guys, Dragonfly Mike 77. Today I'm going to be throwing this in with Mixology, heat management. This is by far the most common question that I get asked when it comes to how to make bowls last longer, how to make bowls taste better. It all comes down to heat management. And it is by far the hardest for me to be able to help you with because you can't actually taste what I'm doing in my videos. I can tell you a few things, but you cannot experience the density of the clouds or the temperature of the clouds. I can give you arbitrary numbers, but unless you know what those numbers mean when it comes to temperatures, it doesn't really matter. If you really want to learn about the breakdown of temperatures with different HMDs and different bowls and see actual statistical information, check out hookah.science on Instagram. They're excellent. Now, heat management is a science. However, the technique and learning how to do it is more of an art. And the only way that I can tell you to guarantee to make your bowls last longer is more tobacco and less heat. Whoops. That is the only way to guarantee that your bowls will last longer. That does not mean put more tobacco in the same bowl with less heat. Use a bigger bowl that holds more tobacco and use less heat on it. That may be a bit controversial, but more tobacco takes longer to burn. And if you're using less heat, it takes longer to burn through more tobacco. However, there are so many different factors that are involved in heat management that I don't want to go through all of them. The other thing that is a really popular thing to do that I see so many smokers at home do in a lounge, different setting, I get it. Don't preheat your HMDs. Don't do it. One of the reasons why I am not a fan of doing it is it gives you less control on how hot that HMD is. It can only get so hot with 3 or 4 coals to it. And if you allow it to heat up more slowly, you are giving yourself more control over heat management than when you are preheating it. That is probably the main aspect to it that I do not like. Now, we can talk about tobacco shock and all that kind of stuff, but that has nothing to do with learning heat management to me. That is more of an advanced discussion. Preheating creates a situation where you have less control over how hot your HMD is. Also, I have seen aluminum HMDs, regardless of the brand, they melt because that burner is going to get so much hotter than those coals. So, to me, preheating is one of the worst things that you can do when you're learning heat management. One of the most important parts of heat management has nothing to do with what you're doing as a smoker and has to do with the environment around you. Ambient heat temperature plays a massive role into how your bowls are smoking. If it is 90 degrees out, that bowl is just gonna smoke hotter no matter what you do. And if it's 40 degrees out, that bowl is gonna be harder to reach the temperature that you want to be smoking at. However, there's an interesting aspect to this. Just because it is 90 degrees out isn't a guarantee that that bowl is going to burn up faster, because it could change how you are smoking the hookah. What I mean by that is how often you hit the hookah can influence how long your bowl is going to last. And when it's 90 degrees out, you may not be hitting that bowl as often. So while it is burning hotter because you're not smoking it as often, that bowl could end up lasting longer. That's another one of those things where there are so many things involved in just ambient heat temperature that it's really hard for me to break down what could possibly be wrong or how to make bowls last longer. Now, another major contributor to heat management is HMDs, whether you use one or you don't. And one of the major aspects of HMDs are the type of metal that they are. Is it aluminum versus stainless steel? Aluminum tends to heat spike more often, and what that means is it'll reach a temperature faster than stainless steel will, but then it'll also drop temperature faster. You may notice that when you use an aluminum HMD that you're messing around with coals more than you would with a stainless steel, because the stainless steel has the ability to retain heat more efficiently. Therefore, once you get into a certain temperature, it almost locks it in, so you don't really have to mess with coals as much. However, that doesn't mean that stainless steel is better than aluminum. I also know some people that do not smoke with stainless steel because stainless steel can also get hotter than aluminum can, and they prefer aluminum. So aluminum versus stainless steel isn't about which one's better, it's about which one is going to fit into the way that you like to smoke. Another aspect to it, types or brands of coal. A lot of coals will burn hotter or cooler. And so that's something to remember and consider when you're talking about heat management. It's important to try a lot of the coals that are on the market because they do burn differently. Not just the different brands and coals that are on the market, but also size of the coals. And just because a coal is bigger, like 25 millimeters versus 27 millimeters, doesn't mean that 27 millimeter coal is going to smoke hotter than the 25, because the filler in those coals could be different. But another aspect of that is really important is a lot of times, while the 27 millimeter coal will in fact burn hotter, because there's less airflow in the HMD, you're actually not having those coals get as hot as you would the 25. So that's another factor into how long the bowl is going to last. Now, I mentioned the different types of HMDs. There are also different types of HMDs besides just the metal. Do you use foil with it? Is it one that ends up protruding into the tobacco? That's going to drastically change how the bowls end up smoking. Another very important aspect to heat management is the type of bowl that you are using. I think funnel bowls tend to not have as much flavor, but smoke a little cooler, while Egyptian bowls smoke hotter with more flavor. And again, it's not that one's better than the other. It's more important for you to determine which bowl you like. Different brands smoke better to me in Egyptian versus funnel bowls. But it's not just the style of bowl, but what the bowl is made out of. If it's clay, if it's metal, there are many different aspects to the bowls that we use that can determine how long your sessions end up lasting. Heat management is by far the most important aspect to this hobby. It doesn't matter how well you pack a bowl, it doesn't matter how long you take, it doesn't matter the type of hookah that you have. If you do not have good heat management skills, that bowl is not going to smoke well. And one of the most important things to do in learning heat management is to limit variables and create a consistent smoking experience. That's why for like ambient temperature, if you're constantly smoking outside, that temperature is going to be everywhere. And not everybody has the luxury of being able to smoke inside, so I do understand that. But for me personally, when it comes to ambient temperature, I try to keep my house at 69 degrees, 72 degrees. It depends. If it's winter, I'm probably keeping it at 72. If it's summer, I'm probably around 69. For me, If it's below 69 degrees, I always feel like I can't, that heat's not getting there the way that I want it to. If it's above 72, I kind of feel like it gets to a warmth that is just not the warmth that I am looking for. So when you're learning heat management, try to keep the environment that you're smoking in the same. When it comes to HMDs, try the different ones that are on the market. Try out the different coals that are on the market. This is an aspect of smoking that requires the most time to learn. You can spend as much time as you want packing the bowl. You can have the nicest hookah that is on the market. And if this is not up to where you would like it to be, it's just not going to smoke well. For me, in order for me to have the most success, to have that bowl smoke exactly the way that I want it, I'm going to be using either the Cloud Lotus 1, Cloud Lotus 3, or the Forge. I'm going to be using my 1010 Eggy bowl, and I'm going to be using 320 coals. That right there, those things are going to give me the best results. It might be different for you. So with heat management, just like anything else, it's about experience, and it's about learning to fine-tune a technique to give you the most success. And as a content creator, it is very hard for me to narrow down why something might not be smoking well for you, or give you advice. It's very difficult for me to do that. By controlling these different aspects right here, that's going to give you the most success. But I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.